Hey, I'm back, and I'm back with some good stuff, I hope. If you go through our lessons, you're going to see this blues scale, pentatonic minor, all over the place. Okay, but if you like country music, or you're a Grateful Dead fan, you'll notice that they use a happier sounding pentatonic scale, if you've broken it down to that. But what's the deal with that? Well, there is a minor pentatonic, which is the blues scale, pretty much. And then there's a major pentatonic, which is the country scale. It's a happier sounding scale. But don't worry, there's not another scale to learn. You're already supposed to know this scale. And if you know it, then you know the major pentatonic too. I'm not going to start with an A note. I'm going to start with the next note in the scale, the C note. C is the relative major of A minor. And you can remember that by just seeing, you know, the whole step and a half between each finger here. I need to explain more where that comes from, but right now I don't want to get into that. I just want to show you how you can make an A minor sounding scale into a C major sounding scale. Yeah, so this minor pentatonic scale will give you a bluesy sounding A minor, but if you go to the second note and start on C, it'll give you a happy country scale over a C chord, no longer A. So let's get up close and see what's going on here so I can explain this. Okay, so the pentatonic minor, I played over the A minor chord, or A major. But if it's A minor, really better, because it's really a minor scale. I'm not going to talk about that now. That's down the road in our theory classes. But now, instead of playing against a minor chord, I'm going to play against the C chord. Same scale though. But I'm going to start from the second note. I don't have to start there, but that's the C note. So it's very elementary if I start from C, if I'm going to play against the C chord. So look at this. I start at one note late, and I end at one note past the A. So I got C, D, E, G, A, C. I didn't end on the A here, I went one farther. That's the country scale. All the same riffs, rollouts, but instead of putting the accent on the A note, I'm putting it on C. So when you're practicing this, you want to play it against a C chord. And it's really important if you could record that C chord or have a friend play C. And then try this A minor blues scale against that C chord. I can start with the A note. I don't have to start with C. Like I said, it's elementary. So all the same things you learn in blues and rock can be applied to this. If you're in a country band or Grateful Dead type band, you need it. I mean, you'll see this stuff in jazz too. It's a pretty scale, okay? Pentatonic scales. Two notes are missing. We'll talk about that in the future with our theory lessons. Yeah, so diatonic, okay, pentatonic. Two guys are missing in there. What happened? Why? The notes at the half step were removed, but that's all I'm going to tell you about that now. What I need you to do is play C chord and then play some riffs. But accent the C note, and that's a C note. That's a C note. So the first C note is on the 8th fret of the low E string, the next one is on the 5th fret of the G string, and then the last one's on the 8th fret of the high E string. And if you listen to this, yeah, the C major scale's hiding in there too. What goes on with this? We'll explain that later. Right now that might be too much, or maybe you don't care. Remember, all these little shorty lessons are just about little quick fixes to, you know, turn you on and maybe make you better, and whatever reason we can come up with. All right, so that's the major pentatonic, not the minor, but the major pentatonic. If you can remember, minor start with finger 1, major start with the pinky. That's a good rule for now. There's other ways to do this, but that's just a good way to get it going. And when I was in my teens, that's how I first learned it. Okay, so major pentatonic is found inside the minor pentatonic. A minor pentatonic has his relative C major in there. It's not A minor pentatonic and A major pentatonic. And pay attention to this. All right, there's an A minor in the pentatonic scale, and there's a C major pentatonic inside the same scale, just starting one note past the A. So my producer Jesse was just asking me some questions about this. There's more to explain about major and minor and the relatives. In the diatonic scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, the sixth note will always tell you who the relative minor is. That means they have the same exact notes as the major. He just becomes the boss note, the relative minor, number 6. I don't want to get into this right now because this is enough to make you want to turn it off and move to something else. The proof's in the pudding. Sit down and just play it, and I'll explain later what's going on. So remember, if you're playing this pentatonic in A minor, play it against an A chord. If you have a friend to play some chords, play it against that. But if you want to try the major pentatonic, same scale, but play it against the C chord. And I can start anywhere I want, but to play safe, I'll start with the second note of the scale, the C. So once you hear that, I mean the blues scale, in A, it's sad. Okay, but when you play one note up, same notes, but I'm going to give him the accent, give him all the attention. That's another C note there. It has a happy feel, kind of a bluesy, kind of country feel, but it's still happy. All right, so you got to mess with that. Play C chords with the C major pentatonic. That's what that is. And then play A or A minor with the A minor blues scale, or minor pentatonic. When you hear this term minor, pentatonic, and blues scale, they're pretty much the same thing. The blues scale carries one more note in it. When I was a kid, no one ever really talked about the difference between the blues scale and the minor pentatonic. But there is one slight difference. That note. It's called the flat 5. You can leave it out, put it in. But for the most part, when I say blues scale or minor pentatonic, I mean the same thing, you know. Okay, so I hope you're thoroughly confused on that. Good luck with it, and I'll see you next time, and we'll talk more about this. Take care now.